Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Jeff Culbert from Schooley's Mountain Chiropractic Center, and today I want to do a video mostly for the patients that do come into the office, but for you guys to be educated also out there as to what you can expect when you come into a chiropractic office. When you come into our office or most any chiropractic office, you're going to get a complete history, consultation, exam, maybe some x-rays, maybe some scans, but a complete physical neurologic chiropractic examination. And then from there, we're going to start to glean all that information and we're going to put it into what is known as a report of findings. Every patient that comes into our office will get a report of findings folder. And when we go through what's in the folder, we go over a number of things. What is wrong with you? Can we help you? How long is it going to take to accomplish this in terms of, are you looking for relief care, corrective care, or are we setting up a long-term wellness-oriented program? And then we're going to go over what's the cost for it. Other things that we will go over here is we will offer you a payment plan option if something that needs to be done. We will go over home care instructions. And the home care instructions are the things that you can do at home to literally, like Jerry Maguire said in his movie, help me help you get better faster. Prior to COVID, we used to do a number of different healthcare-oriented lectures in the office. And those would range from building a better you, the back school, how to build a healthy immune system, how to eliminate stress from your life, prevention of neck and arm pain, and nutrition for a better you, just to name a few. Since COVID's come around, we have typically found that most people don't want to come back out and be in a closed-in environment where they're with a whole bunch of other people. So that prompted us to start a YouTube channel. So what I'd like to do today is go over my basic healthcare class. When somebody comes in brand new to the office, we would like to orient them to chiropractic, Schooley's Mountain Chiropractic Center way, so that they can understand what they're walking into, what our philosophies are, how we go about taking care of a patient. So without any further ado, for all of you people who are my patients who are turning into this, and we're recommending you to view this as an orientation to our office. So what I want to know, or what I want you to know, is that we look at you in terms of 3 phases of care that we would like to put you through. Now that works for some people, and so for some people it doesn't, but that is basically relief care, corrective care, and long-term wellness care. The goal in relief care is to get you 50% to 100% reduced in your symptomatology, and that's generally going to be anywhere from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 to maybe 12 weeks, depending on the degree of severity that you come in with your condition and the length of time that you've had it. The more severe your condition and the more chronic it is, the longer it's going to take, probably closer to the 3-month time frame. The more new and acute it is, and it hasn't been there for a long time, and the younger you are and the less comorbidities you have, the faster you're going to find getting rid of that inflammation occurs. So once we've got the inflammation under control, as I often tell most of my patients, you are a house on fire. We've put out the fire. And now is the time that we want to go into a process known as rebuilding, or doing something that is correctively oriented in your care. Make the area stronger, rebuild the body, get you introduced to basic healthcare concepts. And then from there, once you've got the house rebuilt and the fire's out and everything looks great and brand new again, then what do you have to do to maintain it? That is the long-term wellness-oriented care. So for those patients that are here for relief care, we're going to ask you to follow the home care instructions as closely to 100% as you possibly can. It's there to help get you through that relief phase as fast as we humanly possibly can. Some of the things that are in the relief phase of care are going to be, try to be careful of sitting too long. Be careful of bending and twisting at the waist. Don't cross your legs. When you're sleeping, sleep on your back with a couple of pillows underneath your knees or between your knees, and a pillow so that the head stays neutral with your belly button and you're not cocking the head up or drooping it down. We're going to ask you, depending on what's going on, whether it's more joint or muscular oriented, whether you should be using some ice or you should be using heat. Timing of the ice and heat is critically important. You put the ice on for too long, your body gets too cold, and you're going to rebound swell with some blood coming in to warm the area up. You don't use the ice long enough, you're never getting it on long enough to start to reduce the inflammation process. The sweet spot for the ice is generally 15 to 20 minutes, or you should feel cool, burn, ache, and numb. Once you've gone numb, the ice has done its thing, it's time to take it off. If that's in 10 minutes, take it off in 10 minutes. If it hasn't gone numb in 20 minutes, take the ice off. Don't push leaving it on too long and letting it get too cold. Same thing goes along with the heat. The heat is for more muscular components or more highly arthritic components when ice is an irritant to the arthritis. And it should be moist heat better than dry heat. Moist heat has a better physiological response to the body than dry heat does. And moist heat should go on somewhere between 5 and 7 minutes for the peak physiological response. But I ask my patients 5 to 10 minutes, don't go any longer than 10 for sure with the moist heat. And cycle the ice and the heat in hour increments. So 15 or 20 minutes on with the ice, break for an hour, and then you can repeat. As a bare minimum, we generally ask our patients to do something like breakfast, lunch, dinner, bed for one or the other. And if you need both, because it's both a muscular and a joint component that is going on, we will ask you to do 20 minutes of ice, wait about an hour, and then try to get the 10 minutes of moist heat on. Take a break, and then follow up again a couple of hours later with repeating that same process. If your back is bad enough or the neck is bad enough, we may ask you to get into a collar, some over-the-door traction, using a support belt. So if you're losing the curve in your neck, we may also recommend that you use a cervical pillow, the ones that have the curves that are built into it. We will also oftentimes, when there's a lower back, hip or knee or foot issue, definitely take a look to see if your feet are flat. Very simple test that we can do, just eyeballing it, and then muscle testing to see whether the arch is supporting your structure or not. And if it is not supporting the structure, we'll recommend orthotics. And there's a couple of ways that you can go. You can go very cheap and very easy, or very inexpensive and easy, by going to a store that has the Dr. Scholl's or any type of mass-produced orthotic. They're generally very soft, very flexible. They generally don't hold up a long period of time. But if the economic situation that you're in is such that you can't spend $200 or $300 for a chiropractic set of orthotics, or go to a podiatrist and spend $800 or $900 for a set of orthotics, then you start simple and then you work your way on up with the orthotic. We're also going to tell you during the relief phase of care that we want you to rest. And rest does not mean sitting on a couch. It means that you resume your exercise or activity always below the soreness threshold. You find out what you can do so that there's no pain during the activity and no pain for at least an hour to 2 to maybe 3 hours afterwards. You can do an activity, there's no pain during or after, sweet spot. Motion helps you to heal. If you find that there's an activity that you get pain during, you stop, you ice, you're not ready for that activity. If you find an activity that you can do that you don't get pain during it, but you notice you're getting a little achy, an hour, 2 or 3 afterwards, activity that didn't set up a quick amount of swelling and irritation, but a slow burn, so to speak, you've got some inflammation going on, you definitely want to make sure you're icing it down, but the next time you go to do the activity, modify your duration or your intensity so that you can easily find what is the level you can do then. No pain during, no pain after, and then build from there. Exercises that we typically will start off with you would be something as simple as a towel exercise to maintain the curve in the neck, and a nice 90-90 stretch for the pelvis so we can start to open up those facet joints. Exercises are part of everybody's program of care here in the office, and as we start to reduce the inflammation and start to balance some tone with the area that we're working on, we will implement a steady progressive set of exercises, starting small, building on number of sets, number of reps, number of exercises, so it's easy for you to incorporate it into your life in small segments versus giving you a sheet with 15 or 16 exercises that may seem overwhelming. And if you're overwhelmed, I'm smart enough to know most people won't do it. Depending on what's going on with the musculature, we will recommend a tennis ball, a foam roller, or a massage hand gun, something along those lines, so you can work out spasms and knots. I'm always going to ask you to increase your water so that we can flush out toxins, lubricate joints, and also make sure that we're hydrating discs, as well as boosting and building the immune system. How much water somebody needs is really based on their size and their activity level and their weight in the area that we live in, whether it's half to 2/3 your body weight in terms of ounces of water per day. The other thing we ask you to do in the initial phases of care is avoid the caffeine and avoid any alcohol. Those things tend to like to dehydrate you, and if we're trying to work with a disc or an arthritic joint that we would like to lubricate, keeping the water in your system is really the best way to go. And then we get into the recommendations of our healthcare classes. And then we also recommend emergency procedures. Should you do something at home, we ask you to ice down, gently stretch, drink plenty of water to flush the toxins out. Again, do that rest mnemonic of resuming your activity or exercise below the soreness threshold. If it tends to be more muscular where you're noticing cramping or spasming or tightness, a little bit of moist heat. Calcium and magnesium are natural muscle relaxants. You can always get some calcium and magnesium at any health food store. And then I give each and every one of my patients my card. Now, my business card also has not only my office number and the fax number here for the office, but it also includes my cell phone. I learned from my dad a long time ago that when you take on the responsibility for somebody's health care, you need to be available to them. And so for all of our new patients that come into the office, I give everybody my cell phone. Everybody says, "Doc, I don't need it. I'll never call you. I can gut through it." It's the worst thing I want you to do. Gutting through it creates more inflammation, it creates more spasm, and it's going to ultimately slow down your progress. So when you're brand new to the practice, if something goes on, you're starting to feel a little bit better, and then you do a little bit too much too soon, and your body says, "Not quite ready for it," you can always, as a patient, shoot me a text. Okay, let me know who you are, what happened, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible so that we can start to reduce the inflammation, start to reduce the muscle spasm. And if worse comes to worse, I can either make a house call or I can have you get into the office for a little bit of extra care and treatment and therapy if that's what's needed. So this is what we go over with our patients as an orientation during relief care. When we get into the corrective care, I want you to start to think about adopting chiropractic more as a lifestyle versus something that is a treatment-oriented type of thing. It's great for getting relief, but if you're only getting relief and never rebuilding the structure and making things stronger and tightening up the ligaments, which are basically the glue that's got to keep you in place, identifying what the stressors are that are keeping you there on a physical, emotional, or biochemical level, then it's always a repeated pattern of I'm hurting, I'm getting adjusted, hurting, I'm getting adjusted, hurting, I'm getting adjusted. The real value to chiropractic is we've gotten rid of the hurting. We're starting to adjust you and correct and getting you into wellness so your body thrives. During this process of time, we are going to give you exercises that are specific for your condition. And then we want to give you exercises that are going to help you promote strength, balance, flexibility, cardiovascular fitness, and endurance. You get all 5 of those components working for you with the exercises that are designed and the stretches that are designed to rehabilitate the injured area. Eventually your body knows how to adapt and accommodate, but not only adapt and accommodate, but thrive in any environment that you tend to put it in. And that's the goal, what we want with exercise. So keep in mind when you're shifting from relief work to corrective work, we're going to ask you to get involved with an exercise program. Start small as I did before when I started my first long streak, and then slowly build as you get stronger in each of those 5 areas that we just discussed with exercise. To help you get there, because you can never outrun or out-exercise a bad diet, we need you to pay attention to your diet. And to do the dietary stuff in just a couple of moments, I want you to drink plenty of water. Avoid over-sugared fruit juices, over-carbonated juices. Avoid overconsumption of alcohol and overconsumption of caffeines. Because again, those things, one, they're not healthy for you and they tend to dehydrate you. And we want to avoid that dehydration. So lots of water and lots of water-rich foods. That's your fruits and your vegetables. Okay? Now, if you can get organic, organic is always best. And I asked you to get fresh, because fresh is best. Frozen is next best. And when it comes down to it, if you have to do something that's canned, you may be better off to just simply eat the can and throw away what's in it. Because there's going to be a lot of crap and a lot of junk in that canned product. It's built for longevity on the shelf, not necessarily what is nutritionally sound for you. I'm going to ask you to be an omnivore. Okay, I know there's a lot of research out there in terms of a vegan, a vegetarian diets that support a healthy body, healthy immune system, but I fully believe that God gave us the ability to eat fish, to eat fowl, to eat meat, and to eat plant-based. Okay, He provided all of those for us before He decided to make us. So if He gave us all of these things, and we're from the land, we breathe the air, we drink the water, all of these things that are both in air, on the land, and in the water are available to us. We were given stewardship over the land, air, and water. Therefore, it is to feed and nourish our body. So try to eat some red meat every now and then because it has the protein, the fish, the fowl, okay? It gives you the protein and the nutrients that you need to help create strong bones, healthy muscle. It gives you the nutrients for strong hormones, okay? So again, I'm an omnivore. I love omnivore, and I balance my fruits, my vegetables, and my proteins, and I limit the amount of crazy fat that goes into my system, but I know I've got to have the fat because that's what drives my sex hormones, and that's what's going to keep me healthy and functional in the long run. Not low T, nice levels of testosterone, same thing with the women. We also, as you're adopting a chiropractic and a healthy lifestyle, need you to be sleeping. Sleep is where your body gets the ability to repair. Your body repairs when it's resting, and the greatest time that we have for repair and rest is when we are sleeping. So get quality of sleep and quantity sleep. We need sleep so that it produces, for us older folks, growth hormone. And the small amount of growth hormone that we produce is there for tissue healing and repair, not for growth in size and bulk and height. Okay, also the other thing that when you're sleeping is it keeps your cortisol level, the stress hormone, low, so that you're not always in that fight, fright, or flight response. You have the balance between your sympathetic and your parasympathetic nervous system. Once we're getting enough sleep, we're also balancing other hormones. Recently in a podcast, I learned that when you're not getting enough sleep, men and women, your testosterone levels drop. And women, one of the first things that low T starts to do for you is start to affect your thyroid. So if you're feeling tired, grumpy, grouchy, lethargic, and irritable, it could be that it's a lack of sleep and it's a lack of low T that's affecting your thyroid level. So there's a lot of benefits to sleep. Maintain a great posture. Posture that's good reduces the stress on your nervous system. Slouching posture means muscles are weakening, other muscles are tightening, bones are jamming up, and nerves are going to end up getting pinched, which is going to affect muscles, joints, organ glands, and skin. And anything that has an aberrant nerve function is going to have an aberrant function that's going on in the body. The other thing we ask you to do is adopt a lifestyle that means that you are joyous and grateful for everything that's going on in your life. I saw an interview of the oldest woman in the world, and at 122 and a half, she gave an interview that said, "My longevity had nothing to do really with my lifestyle. I drank until I was 117, I smoked till I was 120, but what it did have everything to do with was my attitude. I would wake up every morning laughing, I'd go to bed every evening laughing, and her job was to laugh as often as she could in between. Laughter, best medicine." And again, she lived to be over 123 years old. She was from France, and God love her for the right attitude that she had. Remember, Lance Armstrong, love him or not, said, "In the fight against cancer, knowledge is power, but attitude is everything." And then the other thing we want you to pay attention to during this corrective phase of care is keeping to your chiropractic adjustment. You're going to start to feel better, but feeling better does not necessarily mean you are better. Stick with your appointment schedule that the doc lays out for you, whether that's 3 times a week, twice a week, once every 10 days, once every 2 weeks. Stick to that appointment schedule. If for any reason you miss or can't make an appointment, always know that you should be making it up within that week, or at least within a 7-day period of time, because your body does crave the consistency and regularity with which it receives care. From there, as you start to get stronger, then we start to transition you into wellness-oriented lifestyle. you're rebuilt, you're strong, there's no pain, the likelihood of it coming back is very, very remote, and you're under constant and regular chiropractic care, whether that's weekly, 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or once a month. It is there to maintain, just like you would go in for a dental checkup. You go into a dentist every 6 months, they check. If everything looks great, we'll see you in 6 months. Chiropractically, because you are a mobile being, susceptible to a ton of different stresses, we don't want you to stretch out 6 months. It's way too long to go. We want to try to keep it to shorter periods of time, a quick in, quick out, get adjusted what needs to be adjusted, leave the rest alone because the body's doing its thing, healing the way it should be, adapting and accommodating to its environment. But every now and then, the environment or the stress gets to be a little overwhelming, especially in the world we live in, and you gotta fine tune it. The subluxation that occurs is like tripping a circuit breaker. You can work with the lights being dim, but it's better to be working with the energy and the power of the body to be as fully 100% engaged as it possibly can. So for everybody that is new to my practice, this is our basic healthcare class. Hopefully you found this interesting and informative, and that when you're into the office after I give this to you in terms of our YouTube channel, you are going to appreciate the effort that we take to educate you in ways that are in and out of the office. For those of you that are not patients to our office, hopefully this gives you some information that you can utilize with the chiropractor that you have chosen, whether it's in New Jersey or somewhere in the United States or somewhere else around the world. You can incorporate this information so that you can get the best out of your chiropractic care. You know, chiropractic care doesn't necessarily add life to your years, but it does add years to your life. And the more years you have that are healthy, as well as longevity, the more you squeeze the juice out of life. So if anything here that you have seen and liked, please hit that like and share button and help grow our channel. And if you're interested in Schooley's Mountain Chiropractic Center, please feel free to visit smcc4u.com. We always welcome. There's a place there you can put in comments, review our site, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, tell us what we can improve. Always open to that. And I would love anybody that's out there close to the Hackettstown, Long Valley area of New Jersey, you ever feel like you want to visit our office, I am welcome to show my office and my staff off at any point in time. So this is Dr. Jeff Culbert saying, for my patients, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you soon in the office. And for those that are not patients in Schooley's Mountain Chiropractic Center, I hope you found this interesting, and we'll see you in our next video real soon. Thank you and have a great day.